All right. We have a Soulful Offer Doc Anatomy edition. I wanted to walk you through what I include. So this one's pretty straightforward. I have some concepts to review from the other video and some bits here about what it takes for someone to buy, but I'm going to cover the anatomy breakdown, the anatomical breakdown of what I put in my offers. I learned the basics and I started bending the rules, right? So I lead with the vision. The first paragraph the person has to speak to that soul inside of them, what they want to become, or who cares, right? If you lead with the result, if it's not the future vision they have, it's not going to matter. So I put result further down in my document. I lead with vision. This is the one they're stepping into, like current identity versus future identity. If we had two gingerbread mans here, it'd be the current gingerbread man versus the one they want to become. My Soulful CEO ladies know what I'm talking about. So the vision sets the tone. What is the transformation or outcome they're stepping into? Not about features. This is about who they become or what they will have on the other side, or who they will become that gets what they will have on the other side of this. Two, what this is. This is the clear, concise description, the structure, the delivery, the methodology, simple and direct. For example, a 6 weeks container to lose 11 pounds, or 6 weeks to reset your full amygdala, or to understand your full amygdala hijack and put, insert your one move, or make 5K in 5 weeks. That is what this is. That's in this section, whatever that is. Improve your relationship by 30% in 15 days, or, whatever it is. 3, what this is not. This is where we calibrate the expectation and clarify boundaries, filters, and the wrong fit. We don't want anyone stepping into our offer or proximity or our container. That whole one bad apple spoils the barrel. Not that anyone is bad or good, but the way this works, culture is created from the inside out. If one person is not a fit, it will impact everyone. So, for example, this isn't a DIY, this isn't a DFY course. Whatever this is not, put that there. So there may be a lot of one-on-one, or there may be no one-on-one. You want to put that in there. So if someone's expecting a lot of done for you, but there's not any, if there's a miscommunication up front, now there's a lot of cleanup to do later on. This isn't for those waiting on permission, or not for those who love to hustle. This is very values driven for me. Whatever I don't resonate with is what I put here. So it is much easier to filter when you have what it is and what it isn't, who it's for, who it's not for. And again, it makes the yes or the no easy. Promise price or promise plan price. Again, we talked about vision, vehicle value. So the promise, this is the core, or the core transformation or result. We want numbers. We want specifics here. If you've done something for yourself, gotten a result for yourself or someone else once, you can do it again. And this is where being a scientist at heart and being in research really benefits me, because I understand the power of replicability, and I also understand something is novel before it's replicated over and over again. And the way these markets work, once something is proven, now the price is going to go up, because you pretty much know you're going to get a result, unless there is something so far off, that was missed. And this is how I worked in my practice. I tried a lot of things, but based on my research experience, I pretty much knew the result was going to be even better than I had imagined, but I was always willing to experiment. And so that's what people came to me for, because they knew I thought outside of the box and would try things that other people were afraid to try. But usually I try them on myself first. So there is that risk reversal there. And I'm upfront. Hey, I've done this myself. Technically, it's a rule break. Here's what it did for me. Here's all the potential negatives. Are you in or are you out? I did an entire clinical research study that I presented to doctors and healthcare workers that totally changed the way that particular company did things. They loved it. So that's where, if you're going to experiment, be upfront about the potential and then all the things that could go wrong. The plan. step-by-step journey, key elements. And if this is a big experiment, I do have an offer that's one big experiment. You say that up front. Say, hey, look, here's what I expect, and I honestly don't know how this is going to unfold. But let's say you've gotten the results and you know exactly step-by-step what will happen. You give them the step-by-step journey. And then you clearly mark, okay, we got to where we could expect XYZ. Moving forward, what's next? Where do you want to go? What are you after? Are you happy where you are? And then the price. This is the investment or the payment option. This is where you include that in only relevant terms, or in any relevant terms. This has to be clear and unapologetic. Sometimes where people can go wrong is seriously underpriced or just crazy overpriced. But pricing is one of those arts where what you're good at and what you're passionate about and the results you've already gotten and how much pain it's going to kill, what desired result it will get, and the amount of time it'll get it in, that's going to dictate the price. Let's say you could lose 100 pounds by tomorrow and keep it off forever. Well, I know people who would pay 100 grand for that. Let's say, for example, I adore healing trauma at the cellular level and shifting identity to get better health, better relationships, and more money. Now that's vague, right? We typically want to go with one. I could not get those results with chiropractic, but I understood it was possible, and I got people out of a ton of pain and got crazy good health results. I paid 40 grand to go learn the tools to be able to shorten that time frame and completely change someone's reality without even touching them. It was worth it to me because I knew it was possible, and that's my passion. So I paid that price. I didn't start there though. I started at 9K, and then I paid another 29, which is like, I don't know. It was like 39K altogether. And then my husband went through it, but it aligned with my values, what I wanted to do. And I was in this pain of not being able to get the result I wanted for about 10 years with people. That is a function of price. Let's go ahead and move over to the 5-figure offer. This is typically not someone's first step. A big result in a short amount of time that kills big pain is a 5-figure offer. Now, again, I'd had over 20,000 hours in front of patients, and I could get big pain cleared in them, but I couldn't make the results last to what I wanted to do. And so after about 12 years of bumping around with that, I was ready to invest almost 40K over a year and a half. Now I started with 9K over 12 weeks, but it was a no-brainer for me seeing the results that I got over the amount of time. So instead of bumping around for 10 or 12 years, trying to become a different person, improve relationships, whatnot, collapsing time is a big motivator to pay more money because time is the one non-renewable resource and it is not linear. Money is printed every day. And the way people look at money, that usually determines what kind of resources they have access to. Now, not all the time, but I'm just giving some top of mind things. So we got the price, right? Clear and unapologetic. Now, this is where you can customize if these are good for someone, but this isn't working. This is where you can bundle or unbundle. That's the beauty of a menu item. You can bundle or unbundle ingredients or services. You can take some things out, add some things in that will change this. Now, some people may be like, look, I want big proximity to you. Can you do it faster? Well, yeah, that might quadruple the price. And they're probably going to say, okay, cool. There are always people in your audience willing to pay 50 times more than everyone else in your audience. And there's about 10% in your audience who would buy from you now. Completely, like, whether you're aware of it or not. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so how to step in is the next piece. This is the call to action. Energetic permission slip. This is clear, direct, simple. DM me a keyword, I'll send the payment link, or here's how to lock it in. I like this one. Here's how to lock it in. People can say they want something all day long, but until they actually take action, I don't really put a lot of effort in it anymore. I used to try to put a ton of effort into moving people towards what I thought would get a result for them. People have to want their own results, and action is the indicator of what they're after. So the optional pieces, social proof only if it adds clarity, if it enhances clarity, add that. Otherwise, I like to put this in content if my clients agree. You know, I always get permission first, right? Or I'll use myself, or I will change names, change characters, and tell a story where it's not obvious who or what this is. Guarantees risk reversals. Again, this is optional. If you have somebody say, hey, do I get my money back? It's either a yes or a no. Decide. I don't like doing these anymore. I used to do guarantees. They seem skeezy to me now. I just don't like them at all. I'm more drawn to someone who says, no, I don't do them because it's based on your action, because that's how I feel. That's my value. That's my belief. So the plan is the goal, not a guarantee. That's what you can say if you don't want to put a guarantee, or if you do want to put a guarantee. The plan is the goal, not a guarantee. Results based on your action and how you show up. No refunds, guarantees. This is full ownership. So you could use any one of these three, or you could put a guarantee on it. I used to completely guarantee my full on ultimate upgrade and breakthrough process. I don't do that anymore. So if someone's the right fit, they're the right fit. I know what kind of result they're going to get anyway. I'm not going to include this. That's just where I am. Comparison. This is if you have a group or a group versus one-on-one. That's how I use it. And then I usually have a self-selection note if there is group and one-on-one available. If not, this will confuse the matter. So only include it if both are options. For instance, one-on-one, that's deep, custom, hands-on. I did an offer where I included my amygdala unload, formerly known as the QCP. It's gotten additional layers. It is, she's deep, she's amazing. I did this along with the group, and people could choose which one. Now, most of them wanted this. So it's just how you want to do things. The group, shared space, peer support, same frameworks, just less proximity. And the general rule is, if we were to, so this is you, this is closer, this is closer. So here is not really much proximity. As you go inward, the goal is for price to increase, because as people come into your world, they have more access to you, and that's where the price goes up. So some people can exist out here and have their lives completely changed, and some people are going to get right up in your back pocket, and it's going to be good for both of you. The rule is the closer someone gets, the higher the price goes, because they are getting much more of you in your world. And nervous systems calibrate to nervous systems. So what's really happening here is you are literally bleeding who you are on them in the best way ever. So they will become the version of themselves if they see what they want inside of you way faster being here. So back to this. Hopefully my marker doesn't dry up. Yes. So proximity versus further out. Visual flow and breaks. I'm a stickler for this, because if I don't enjoy reading something or it's hard for me to understand, I stop. I don't care if it's exactly what I want. If it requires effort for me to read and it's like nails on a chalkboard to my eyes, I just can't. So clear formatting and spacing, clear sections so the doc can breathe and read smoothly. I'm a stickler for this. It's technically optional, but I'm a big visual human. Back to the $100 versus $10,000. So this is 3 figures versus 5 figures. So this comes down to perceived value. I did an experiment with a WhatsApp group to test a lot of my ideas out, and it went really well. It was $100. I did not talk to anyone. I just had people pay. They were in or they were out. We talked via DMs or text. It was really cool. And I've done several of these. So this is like one offer for one person versus recurring revenue or multiple people paying smaller portions at one time. So 5-figure offer, I think of as a pay in full over time. Now, some people think of this as payment over time. So let's say $250 per week for a year, whatever that is. That's a little over $12,000, I think. Some people think of that as a 5-figure offer. I think of that as proximity over time. So maybe my thinking on this is different, but a lot of people consider 5-figure offers payment over time when it's complete. Now you can absolutely finance 5-figure offers, but again, to me, it's a little different versus a pay in full, but it's still payment over time in terms. So it's perceived value. And here's how value is perceived. This is it. Pain, desired result, and time. How long have they been in pain? How much pain do they need to be in to move from where they are now? Some people are fantastic at suffering. Women have been conditioned to hold everything that's not yours or ours. I was conditioned to be codependent. For instance, here's an example. Alcoholics hit their rock bottom. Codependents have to choose their rock bottom, meaning if we're living and breathing, we can continue to suffer and suffer even more, and suffer as long as those around us can live a better life. And there's no end to how much we can suffer. So when you change your pain threshold and the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change in all perceived value, this is where we move. Desired result, that's what we feel like is going to get us out of pain or get us relief. Time, how long do we want to wait? Do we want it tomorrow, or are we fine waiting for a year? And this is the difference between a one-off, an install, or a transformation offer. Now, we talked about proximity. This is how close are you? Information is, am I selling you info or am I selling you proximity? So it's more like proximity versus info. But one-offs, install offers, and transformation offers, those are kind of the general types. A retreat or a workshop is an example of a one-off, or a one-time call or a one-time session or a one-time consult. So this is anywhere from free to tons of money. And interestingly enough, money is imaginary, and the only reason it works is because we as people have agreed that it means something as a value exchange right now. If money were to disappear, we would go back to trade pretty quick, and then basic needs would take precedence. So anyway, just some concepts to think about. Back to the concepts, actually. So labels, this will be your limiter. You need them applied properly. Remember back to when I said I don't label myself anymore as far as what I do. I label my mechanism and my result / offer. Menu item versus ingredients. Is it nice and plated perfectly for the person, or is it just a list of ingredients the person has to decide what to do with? If their creativity is shot, you'll get minimum amount of money for this. Packages versus services. Packages are going to sell better than a one-off service because this is results and vision oriented, and this is what do you think you need now, and requires a ton of thinking. Big results in a short amount of time that kills big pain. Again, all that's perceived. That is a 5-figure offer. It is typically not the first step. And again, no one is interested in a 5-figure offer. That's not true. Most people are not interested in this unless they are heavily invested in their own transformation over time, or once the pain of staying the same is now outweighed by the pain, or once the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change, no matter how they can think about it. So this is when someone buys a 5-figure offer, usually when they're ready to move, until they've gotten into the habit, and then they're like, okay, I see the results of investing in self. But to do something different, most people have to get to a threshold point until they train themselves to continue to move forward. So again, pain of staying the same has to outweigh the pain of change for most people to move, even on a small offer. So this is not just 5 figures. 5 figures is more the result of what results are you looking for, over what time frame, and with who. That is why the personal brand is so important now. All right. Love you all.